Infantino has told FIFA's 211 member nations they will each receive $40 million if they agree to the plans. The Times chief sports reporter Martyn Ziegler broke the story. There is no better person to talk to about it. Martyn, a very good afternoon from the afternoon shift. Can we start with the maths? Tell us about this. You say in your piece this will be worth $10 billion to nations if they agree, $40 million each, but $2.7 billion if they don't. Tell us a bit more about that.
Yeah, so Gianni Infantino has written to all 211 associations, and it spells it out. You've got 53 days to make this decision. If you vote in favour, then you basically get $40 million over the next 4 years. If you vote against, you get 75% less than that.
Right.
So it's say around just over 10 million. So it's clearly a sort of the financial incentive that he's waving to these national associations is huge.
Martyn, can I just ask you a very, very basic question? Did you see this coming? Was there anything, in the runes, in the entrails that was telling you the sport so well, that we would be talking about something like this just a week after the World Cup?
I don't think there'd be something so quick. I didn't think it would be quite as revolutionary and controversial as this. I thought there would be sort of moves by Infantino to, commercialise things and bring in more money somehow, even more. But I think this has caught everyone by surprise.
And if I asked you to just use, let's say, 3 adjectives to describe it, what would those adjectives be?
That's putting me on the spot for you. I can't even think of. I can think of.
No, I know, because I know what you're thinking, and I can't say that on air. and I think lots of people are with you.
I think it's a sort of betrayal.
Yeah.
Of football is one of the words I'd say, and I think it's greedy, and I think it's unnecessary.
OK, so that is exactly what every single text message, and we've got a lot about this subject to the programme, are saying. And it's also, I think, for the fans, isn't it? It's hurtful in a way. It's money grabbing. What could anybody who's taken the time to read your piece, to get angry about it, to text our programme, what are they meant to do about it? Is there anything?
Well, I suppose they can, use social media or any other means to put pressure on the Football Association in England or whatever country they are, to stand up to this. That's what they can do. One interesting thing is that FIFA's already got $4 billion in reserves. A very senior figure in football told me they could give all this extra money to the national associations if they wanted to, without involving private investors and all the consequences that happens. So why aren't they doing that? And so the answer to that, I think, is this is a way of FIFA's president and a close circle of people within the organisation who have secretly done this scheme to basically enrich themselves one way or another, because I just can't see I cannot see the other justification for doing it.
Yep. Who will the private investors be?
Well, they've said that. They've announced that the kind of anchor investor is going to be Joshua Kushner, who is the brother of Donald Trump's son-in-law, Jared Kushner. He's a billionaire venture capitalist, but other investors as well. There's a big investment company called Apollo, which has been linked with it. That's also run by somebody who's been a Trump donor, the chief commercial advisor to this whole deal, who used to work for Liberty Media. He's a former Trump donor. So, the links are sort of fairly obvious.
Yeah, gosh, how much money do all of these people need? The English FA have said what, Martyn?
They said they're sort of very concerned and disappointed about the lack of consultation and the whole governance about this. But and they may comment further. I think they're going to probably hold their fire because UEFA is calling an emergency meeting tomorrow of its 55 member nations to talk about this, and so we will see. We will see from that what comes out of that, what action they're going to take. It's there's been talk about could they even threaten a boycott? I think that's not too far fetched.
Right. Neil says, is this a case where traditional nations will be up in arms, but emerging nations, particularly African nations, will be supportive? It'll show old versus new.
Well, I mean, the English FA for the obviously $40 million is a lot, but it's in terms of their overall revenues, it's not that much. If you're like a small country in the South Pacific or Africa or the Caribbean, this could $40 million, that could be 10 times your annual income, and you're going to get that, and that promise. It's quite for them to turn that down. That's a massive decision, much more difficult for them than the English FA, but they're probably they're not looking at the sort of broader consequences if they think this is a good idea.
Yeah. And if all of this did go ahead, Martyn, and you and I are having a chat a week after the next World Cup, might it have faded from view that this change has happened in football? Might it not affect our enjoyment of the game, our own personal investment in the game, as much as it feels like it might now?
Well, I don't think if it goes through, we may not see the significance in the next World Cup. But beyond then, are we going to see more teams? Does it, because there could be pressure to have a 64 team because more matches means more money. Are we going to see the World Cup being held more often? Are we going to see it being held more often in the USA, which is the most commercial market? Because the private investors, they will want a return on their money, and they'll be pressurising really hard to maximise that income any way possible, won't they?
They will. So, yeah, we might have a half-time interval of about, an hour and a half?
Well, exactly.
Somebody better make sure that Wayne Rooney's sitting down in something comfortable with a large drink. Martyn, it's good to talk to you. Thank you very much indeed. It's on the front page of The Times today in much more detail. If you'd like to read all the way through Martyn Ziegler's article, you can do that on the Times app.